Coach, team struggled some in the fall. In the spring, you've now played 3 out of your 4 tournaments. Have you seen any differences from the spring to the fall performances?
Absolutely, which is kind of odd. Normally these guys come into the fall. They're coming off of summer and playing golf, and really starting in the previous spring. So, you expect them to come in the fall really playing their A game. And they did. They brought in great games in the fall. But when you consider the lack of practice time that we had in the spring, we had our first tournament 4 days after the snow finally melted here. So we didn't have much time to get outside. The way we played this spring, though, has been really not surprising, but it's been a great thing for us, a lot to build on, just because we've come out and played well from the start. The first time most of these guys got out was going to, Florida or something like that for spring break. They've worked on stuff over the off season, working on a new conditioning program we put in, just getting strength built up over the off season in the winter that I think has helped this spring. So obviously we would love to have more events. With the way we're playing right now, we'd love to have more events. But just with our season and as early as it ends, just because of the tedious regional and national process, trying to get that done before school ends for folks. In theory, we're looking at this next weekend being our last weekend. So the fall's our big season, but playing like we have in the spring is a good step for hopefully what we can bring back in the fall. Work with these guys over the summer.
Like you said, the spring weather doesn't help out either.
No, it doesn't. We're always looking for a spring trip or something like that to go to a Puerto Rico or to a Florida or a Texas or an Arizona. Obviously combinations of budgets and again just the fact that we just can't get outside, not having an indoor facility where we can even go hit balls or even a heated range right in town or anything like that. It just puts us at a disadvantage. We can hit balls into a net in Pershing, or we could until this winter. We've been scrambling to try to find places to even do that. So we just it's just a tough spot being as north as we are. So
okay.
Tyler, what areas have you seen the most improvement on with your team going from the fall and the spring, and just this spring?
We Jim Barry and I obviously co-coach the guys. Jim does a lot of the hands-on stuff at the country club and whatnot. And we hammer a lot of things. Chipping, putting. Obviously, you can lose. You give up a stroke just by missing that 3-foot putt. Everybody can hit the ball 270 yards down the fairway. But losing that 3 or 4 foot putt just a little bit short or a little bit right can cost you 2 or 3 shots around. And that makes a huge difference from 72 to 75. And it does mentally too. Taking a 75 and leaving putts out there just kills you. And if you're leaving yourself 8 or 9 foot putts all day, it is a physical grind. So we work a lot on chipping and putting, and we have seen a good improvement in that. The old saying, you drive for show and you putt for dough. That's where the difference is. We lost a few spots in the fall just because we missed some really basic putts that we just didn't convert on. And that cost you 3 team strokes. And our tournament itself, we could have been third with 3 less team strokes. And so we dropped to 6. And that just it hurts you. So. Chipping putting is a big one for us, obviously, and we work on a lot of mental toughness with the team. You can't simulate a putt on the 18th green in practice. You just can't do it. You don't have the physiological factors of having walked 4.5, 5 hours in 85-degree weather. And having to make tons of big putts during the day. But we do a few other things, whether it's implementing some push-ups or running a mile or whatever the case is. To try to instill that mental toughness so that, this coming weekend when we play 36 holes on Monday, that when you get to that 34th hole and you've been out on the course for 11 hours, you're still as fresh as you can be after swinging the club 150 times in a day, all pressure-packed shots at the conference championship. So I think we have made strides in that, and we see that every year. And you can look at the scoring averages of our kids. They just have dropped every year, and that's supposed to happen, but I think it's a result of continuing to work on just those basic things and just getting it done from 40 yards in it, because you lose so many shots there. So.
Coach, we already mentioned about MIAA championships next weekend in Kansas City. Actually, Monday and Tuesday, so not necessarily next weekend.
Sure.
What's the expectation for the team?
You know, after this past weekend, there's no reason we can't finish top 3. There really isn't. You know, these guys, they got nothing to lose this weekend. You know what? All 5 guys that we take and go out, they can have fun. They can just play golf, which is when you can just play golf, it takes a huge weight off your shoulders. You know, when you're not thinking about everything else. And honestly, you know what? Not having tons of pressures about trying to capture a conference championship this weekend, you know, it might help us. You know, it might help us play better. But, you know, and that comes in with that mental toughness thing, just trying to instill that work ethic and keeping focused in that regard. You know, there's no reason we can't finish top 3. Obviously, Central Missouri has been kind of the cream of the crop in our conference this year. They've won all 3 conference events. They've won, I think, 6 events on the year. Obviously, they're the big favorites. You know, but you know, obviously, Washburn and Missouri Southern have kind of been the big dogs. But you know, we beat Washburn this weekend, and we finished 3 strokes behind Missouri Southern at their own tournament, at their course. You know, so that none of our guys had seen before. So obviously, when you look at that, you know, there's a couple good upstart teams. Fort Hays State and Southwest Baptist are playing great right now. So this could be a very you can't really throw the dart at maybe a second or third place team just because it could be anybody. If we come out and we put a couple rounds together in the 300s, you know, keep it under 310, we can see ourselves going into that second day after 36 holes, you know, in second or third place. You know, so obviously. One of our guys has played this course before. It's a new course for the conference championships. They played at Shoal Creek last year. We're at Tiffany Greens this year. I've heard it's a really challenging course. A lot of water. The par 3s, I guess, get windy and even more water. And so, but we played the par 3s really, really well down at Twin Hills this past weekend. So we were actually the top team in the tournament playing par 3s. So it's going to be limiting our mistakes there and just taking pars as much as we can on the par 4s and 5s. And, you know, I think we got that instilled finally that that's a good stretch and a good focus to have. So we're looking forward to it. Obviously, we've played 3 tournaments this year where we've done 36 holes on Monday and 18 on Tuesday. So that, you know, we've got experience doing that. It's always fun, you know, when we travel with the girls. They're going to be there as well. You know, both the teams like it. They practice together all the time. It just brings kind of just a level of casualness, you know, just to the event. You know, you get back to the hotel and you can just relax. You're not hanging out with the same people all the time, you know, that you just spent 3-4 hours in the car with. So, you know, the guys like that too. It just kind of, you know, it just relaxes both teams a little bit just so that you can kind of hang out and take it easy. So, you know, hopefully that's another thing that kind of plays in our favor as well. So, but, you know, we're looking forward to the weekend. Obviously, we know as a team, you know, it's going to be our last hurrah this weekend, you know, and barring a couple individuals from ended up making it, you know, we're in a situation that we just throw everything we have this weekend, just have some fun. So,
well, Tyler, thanks for coming on. I know you're a big fan of the show.
Hey, it's great. I watch it every week. It's great.
And Brent, thanks as always.
Yep.
And again, men's golf finished 7th last weekend. Looking forward to the MIAA championships Monday and Tuesday.